So, Chris, when we talk about content strategy in our uni process, we break down 4 different areas. And what I'd like you to do is just kind of go through each of those areas. I'll kind of set you up by one. But the first thing that we talk about is we talk about hub and spoke. Now, to some marketers out there, this might be 101 type marketing for you. But can you just kind of break those down for us and just talk about like the difference between a hub and spoke and then how they relate to content strategy?
Yeah, sure. Well, one of the things that I think is going to be important is that as I start to talk about content strategy, there's so many upsides to use marketing automation. It's ridiculous. And what I mean by that is that automation was designed to do the things that we don't have the time to do or we're going to forget to do. And so if you're a company and you're not using automation, you got to get on board with that. You're getting past the thing of like, it's a nice to have. You're in a spot now where you have to have it. Okay. So a lot of the things we're going to talk about today is with the assumption that you are using marketing automation. In the most ideal sense, you're either working with an agency or you have a really sophisticated marketing team that can implement some of these things. And if you don't, that's why we're here. I want you to reach out. We want to kind of talk to you about the best way to do that. But let me answer your question real quick. So when I'm talking about a hub and spoke, when we develop content back in the day, before all these crazy algorithm changes, let me just share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
Yeah, we got it.
Great. So back in the day, we were in a scenario here where you had a ton of everyone was running to the content game. And what happens here is that we were just writing. We're turning into a mill because we're just trying to get one keyword at a time. And what happens is that Google kind of says, hey, you know what? If you are a thought leader in that space, you're not just going to have a one-hit wonder. You're not going to have just this one article about one keyword at one time. Thought leaders communicate effectively, on the whole, like at a macro level, not just at a micro level. You know what I mean? And so what happens here is that they adjusted their algorithms so that some of the best ways to get content to rank is to stop looking at it as one content piece is going to equal one keyword and start to view it as a content family. And so what we try to do is we try to create a hub page, which is what it's also known as pillar content. Mm-hmm. And in a hub page, this is going to be a longer piece of content. This is going to be anywhere between 1,500 words to be 10,000 words. But it's going to be a longer piece of content. But after you develop that hub page, you're going to use your own content from within your website to support that content. So you're going to have things like spoke pages and blog pages, infographics, videos, everything that you can, all pointing back to that one page. And so that's sort of how hub and spoke works, because rather than getting one piece of content to rank, you're getting a whole family of content to rank. It's better for Google. It's better for the audience. It's also better for you because you're going to have higher page views.
Right. So as it relates to content strategy, we're looking at this diagram right now, and you just said, did you say 10,000 words?
It can be.
Yeah. So we're talking about a lot of content at that point.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. I mean, I think that's the high end.
Yeah.
But there's subject matter experts in my space that in my industry that they put a lot of time and energy into pillar pages, and it's almost like it's never done. And because next year it's going to be reinvented with algorithm changes and things that are happening. There's social media platforms that could be born tomorrow that are going to drastically impact what you do and how you do it.
Okay. So from a content strategy perspective is really getting a handle on how your pillar pages and your spoke pages kind of relate to each other and how they're feeding each other. And then that also talks about the other thing that we've talked about in other podcasts about keywords and connectivity of keywords and backlinking and that type of stuff. Yeah.
But all of this, and if I didn't admit this, if I didn't bring this up right away, if you don't have an editorial calendar, you're dead.
Yeah.
All right. Like all of this is set up so that you mentioned before I had to go from being reactive to proactive. Mm-hmm. Proactive essentially means you have a calendar and you live and die by that calendar.
Yep.
And think yourself as a newspaper. Like the newspaper is not going to not send out a newspaper and say, well, we did the best we could. We just couldn't get it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Live and die by it. You know what I mean? That's where outside companies bring a level of accountability, but they're also the time that you don't have.
Yep.
And so when you develop your editorial calendar, you have written for content in the future, and you're able to project, hey, if this is my hub, what are the supporting pieces that need
to be associated with it? Okay, very good. That's really helpful. Once again, does sound like a little bit of a daunting task. Specifically if you're experiencing, you've got less people on staff, but you're required to do more work. So I totally get that.